Hi. So this is kind of another practice thing, but also a VR response to the lady grave dancer. And I'm sorry, I didn't get her name. I know that Wednesday Adams was mentioned, but I really don't think, I think she was joking. I'm not sure. But it having to do with the graveyard dirt. And I thought it was really interesting. And I kind of agree with a lot of what you've said and was just intrigued by some of the things that you said. One of the things, I'll just kind of try and go through it real quick. One of the things that you were talking about was all the dirt and scandal that happened on YouTube a while back and losing some really good um, tubers. And yeah, I don't know what happened as a viewer. I I did hear things of, oh, this person said this and this person said that, and I don't know what anybody actually said, but we lost a lot of good people that I really enjoyed watching. And so I kind of understand that, yeah, that was a total bummer. And I think it carries more than just on YouTube. In even the world within our own communities, well, of course, it's with everyone, but I see it in pagan communities, and I've seen this a lot in my own pagan community in the city and state that I live in. That people just kind of war with each other, and we call it like the witch wars. And why? I mean, we know persecution more than so many people out there, so why should we be persecuting each other? It's just ridiculous. And um, like I said, this is kind of another practice. This is my whole second video, and I'm going to try and build on it. But okay, so we don't really do New Year's resolutions, or at least I don't, and everything. But the goals work really well because you can try and get to something. If you don't get to it, you keep working towards it. And one of my goals for this calendar year, of the Gregorian calendar year, actually is to build a YouTube channel. And so I will be working on it and to actually learn what I'm doing, because I know this is not quality, but I'm going to get there. Okay. So, you know, I hope you join me on this ride of exploration and learning, and, see that I can improve with this. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I'll eventually do a whole YouTube video about the the attitudes within our communities towards each other and how we need to be sticking together and everything. But I just want to address different things that you mentioned in your video. And that was one. And I guess another big one that I wanted to talk about was the books. You were talking about how some people would come on and they would only read books and they really wouldn't know anything. And books are good inspiration, but you can't just follow them verbatim. And I just thought that was really interesting because, you see, I have issues. I couldn't learn things through books. Um, I I quickly learned that accessible reading materials for Christians are everywhere. Accessible reading materials for pagans, pretty hard to find. And if you can't tell, I'm blind. So I can't just go pick up something like at Barnes and Noble or wherever and just read it the way everybody else does. And, oh, I would love to go to one of those old, trade-in bookstores and get all those old things. And I mean, I have collections and collections of books. Can't read them. They're just rectangle blocks to me now. But, not a biggie. It's just I've had to find creative ways of learning. And YouTube is a great help. The internet is a great help. Witchbox, people, and then through your own practice. If you really meditate on things, and if you talk to your deity and find a guide, and you listen to what's being told to you, and you spend time in the elements, that's how you learn. I mean, I'm I learned so much in so many ways, and books just really aren't a part of it. And in the sense, I kind of think I've moved faster than I may have otherwise moved if I was just reading, you know, chapter by chapter type of thing, because that would have only been one person's ideas instead of really having to search things out. And I think that was a benefit for me. It helped me spiritually grow in ways that I might not have otherwise. And so I kind of really I liked what you were saying about don't go with the books. And it's like, yeah, books are great, but books are not all there is. And I hope everybody else understands that too. And in contrast to that, when there are people who have, there's a certain book, it's like, gosh, everybody talks about it and it's wonderful and I want to read it. And then you have somebody come on, like on YouTube, and they're reading the book. Yeah, maybe that's not the coolest thing to do, but hey, then I have access to it. And so I kind of like that. But, whatever. And there's just so many ways to learn. And really, I think one of the biggest things, sit in the elements, sit in nature, meditate, listen to your deity and your guides, and you're really going to learn. When I try and figure out recipes for, let's say, an incense or a spell or something, yeah, I know what the properties are and what they say I should use and what this is going to do, and I don't immediately go grab those things and try and do it. I think about it. And lots of times I may put in some of those ingredients and I may put in something completely different. Like I was making a facial cleanser. Um, well, something for the face. And I kept thinking, strawberries, but I don't want it to just be strawberries. What else? And is like, okay, well, I'm going to add a little of this, maybe some rosemary and basil. And then it just felt like it was lacking something. And I needed something to really get it going. And it came up with, I couldn't come up with anything, is what I should say. And then all of a sudden, when I wasn't thinking about it, it came to me. I need to just put in some black peppercorns. And, I've got other things in there too. I'm not going to say everything because that's what came to me. And it'll be completely different with what comes to you. But the point is, that's what made it, was the black peppercorns. And I never read anything that said do that, but it was inspired to me at the moment. And inspiration is what we need, what we live by, what we learn by, and how we grow. And you're not going to get inspiration in a book. Books are great, but you got to try and learn on your own sometimes too. Um, yeah, I don't remember what all else you talked about. It was a pretty long video, guys, but I'll keep my eye on it and stuff. And I do love learning all of the techniques and everything that you do, Lady Gravedancer. It kind of gives me a feeling of connection because right now I am in a town in the lovely Bible Belt. Came back to school. I'm in grad school, and I feel like I am the only pagan in this small town. And it's like, oh my hell, I'm on an island. I am, and there are some great people. I have some really good friends and everything, and um, wonderful people that maybe respect. Some are curious. Some understand, and some who are scared, of my religion and my beliefs. But it's just, all of it's kind of interesting. It's just that I feel a little lost because I don't have the community I had back home, getting together all the time and this and that. But then again, I don't have the witch wars either. So I guess we all have a payoff, and either way, I've still got to continue my own practice. Uh, it's something that I have to work on for myself. And like I said, this is my whole second video, and yeah, it's just a VR response, but it's gonna go from here and keep going. And so hopefully you'll start watching, and maybe after a while I'll be out there. Doesn't mean I know everything and I'm gonna try and teach anything. I'm just gonna pass on what I've learned or what I know or what I'm thinking about, and hopefully be part of the community with y'all. So thank you much, guys. Blessed be. Love.